Well, my publisher had learned that DC Comics, which was then called National Comics, had a book called The Justice League, and it was selling very well. And it was made up of a number of superheroes. So he said to me, Stan, why don't you come up with a book with a team of superheroes? And I really didn't want to do the same old thing with guys who just wear costumes and masks and have secret identities, and the girl is always a token girl who has to be rescued all the time. In fact, at that time, I really wanted to quit, because I had been doing these comics for about 20 years, and I had the same instructions from my publisher all the time. Don't use words of more than 2 syllables. Don't play up too much dialogue. The readers get bored reading dialogue. And so I felt I was just writing one-dimensional stories. And my wife said to me, you know, Stan, if you want to quit anyway, why don't you do the next book you do the way you want to do it, just for fun? The worst that happens is you'll be fired, and you want to quit, so what's the big deal? And luckily, that was when he asked me to do this team of superheroes. So I thought, how can I make them a little different than what had gone before? 1, no secret identity. 2, the girl is going to be as much a valuable member of the team as the other 3 guys. 3, instead of the heroine not knowing that the hero is really a hero, you know, the Clark Kent, Lois Lane syndrome, I'll let them be engaged. They know each other and they know what they do, and that's it. And instead of the typical teenage sidekick, I'll get a younger member, but I'll let him be the brother of the girl. So after the girl and the guy get married, he'll be the brother-in-law. So it'll be a little family. And I felt at least that'll make it realistic. Then to continue, I felt Reed Richards will be the hero. Reed Richards, or Mr. Fantastic, as he modestly called himself. I don't want him to be the typical square-jawed hero who says, let's go get him. But I thought I'd make him a little bit more like me, something of a bore. He talks too much. He uses whatever big words he can think of. And I'll have fun with that, because the other members will always say, will you shut up? Can't you explain anything in a simple way? And I thought I'd have them talk to each other like real people do. Then I needed a 4th member who I wanted to be totally different, a guy who's really strong. But I thought, what if he's half monster? What if he could supply a lot of the humor and also a lot of the pathos? And I don't know, I think really, I don't know how I came up with the idea, but I'm so glad I did, because I love the thing. I think he's one of the best characters I ever came up with. As you can probably tell, the main objective was to try to make them as close to real human beings who might have possessed superpowers as I could. Adapting a comic book to a movie or a video game is really no different than adapting a novel to a movie or a video game, if you were to do that. Actually, it's easier, because in the comic book, you've already established the look of whatever the property is. And all you have to do, in the comic book, the characters don't move. You know, Steven Spielberg said to me a long time ago, I'm quite a name dropper, but he said to me, you know, Stan, you and I do pretty much the same thing, except my pictures move. I always remember that. In a comic book, the pictures just lie there. So if you're doing a video game, you take those pictures and you use that as the basis. That's the start. That's the storyboard for your show. But then you've got to animate them. And that's fun. And that's, I think, where the excitement comes in. The same as a movie. When the movie adapted the Fantastic Four comic book, they looked at the pictures, they got the look of what the characters were like, what the settings were like, but then They created their own settings, but based on what they had seen, so that they had the same feeling, but still everything was original and was new. Of course, I don't know if you've thought of this, but it's quite an experience to, by playing a video game, to be able to become one of the characters that you actually created years ago. I mean, if I play the Fantastic Four game, I can be the Thing. I can be the Human Torch or Reed. Hey, I could even be Sue. So, I mean, that's something that nobody could have done years ago. Look at that, it's scaring everybody away. Except that one stupid little guy who chased me.
You got him?
Where are those? Are you making those explosions?
Oh yeah, that's when the guys blew up. So let's run this way. Let's run this way.
Man, I'm good at this. I don't want to fight. Well, where are the bad guys?
Yeah, this way. Let's go. Okay. Right
Find me a bad guy.
Right there. Let's follow the blue guys. Read here. Let's go. Here they are.
Oh, there we go. Okay, watch out, bad guy. We're gonna get you.
Hit that O button.
Go to you and hit which button?
The O one again.
Okay, I'm gonna go to you. There, there's the O button. Hey, what are you doing? That's a funny thing, Excelsior. I used to write this column in all of the Marvel comics called Stan's Soapbox. And I also wrote a page called the Bullpen Bulletins page where I'd give news items about what we're doing and just rapping with the readers. And I would end all the columns, I signed Stan, and you don't want to just say Stan, and you don't want to say yours truly or sincerely yours, it sounds so stiff. So I'd end by saying hang loose, or face front, or enough said. Didn't matter what I signed those columns with. I noticed that the competition started using those expressions in their books. And I said to myself, I've got to think of something that they won't copy because one, they wouldn't know how to spell it, and two, they'd never know what it means. So I came up with the word Excelsior, which means upward and onward to greater glory.